Attention. An event of unknown origin has begun in your area.
My people, my people, my people. What's happening? You know what it is. BSG, Black Star Guidance. You know who it is. Black Star. Tapping in with y'all. It's a beautiful day out. Not too hot, not too cold. Just that perfect temperature. You know what I mean? Hope all is well with everybody. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Before we even jump into it though, I must say, if you haven't already, please hit that like button for me. Hit that subscribe button for me. Turn them notifications on so you know when I'm dropping videos, and share too, please. Why not? Forget it. Why not? And then also, you can follow me on my socials. You can get me at CEO on Instagram, CEEOH_BSP. That is my personal. You can get me at Black Star Guidance, Instagram, and you can also find me on TikTok at CEEOH_BSP. Anywho's though, we're gonna get into it, you know what I mean? Right about now. So, you know, the one of behind, you know, healing is like the ultimate, you know what I mean? That's the ultimate goal, that's the ultimate objective. But you know what I mean, along that healing journey, you know, you have to really do shadow work. And you probably like, what is shadow work? What is shadow work? And that's pretty much, you know what I mean, what I'm gonna get into. And shadow work is pretty much just, you know, the hurts, you know, the pains, the traumas, like, you know what I mean, that dark shit within you that, you know what I mean, you may not necessarily talk to people about, or, you know what I mean, tell people about, but you very much so know that it's there, and you very much so know that it is ultimately, you know, affecting your, you know, your being, your ability to, you know, evolve, evolve mentally, evolve spiritually, evolve, you know what I mean, physically. It's that energy that, you know what I mean, again, we are afraid to address sometimes, you know what I mean? And like I said, with healing being, you know what I mean, number one, I would say that healing is 1A and shadow work is 1B. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like yin and yang. You can't have one without the other. You can't heal fully. You can't say that you're in process of healing if, you know, you're not looking at your shadow side, that darkness within you. You know what I mean? The anger that you have within yourself. You know what I mean? The lack of self-love that you have for yourself, the lack of respect, you know what I mean? The things that you did in your life that you aren't proud of, you know what I mean? And really looking at those things and getting deep and intimate with yourself. And again, asking yourself, why did you do these things? You know what I mean? Where was your mind at when you were, you know, doing these things? What was the cause and effect, you know what I mean, of everything within those dynamics, you know what I mean? And you really have to meticulously, you know, look at these things, like spend time with each, you know, section and segment of, you know, the darkness within you, so that you can ultimately heal from those things, you know what I mean? Like looking through the darkness within yourself should, you know, do everything it's supposed to do along this journey. You're gonna have your, you know, your sleepless nights, you know what I mean? You might not want to eat some days, you know what I mean? You might not, you know what I mean, want to do things, you know, your motivation is gone, you know what I mean? Like just everything, you know what I mean? You feel completely like kind of sucked dry, for a lack of a better term, you know what I mean? Just on an energetic level, you feel like you can't go on, or you know what I mean, why, you know what I mean, do you have to do this? Like that's where most people quit, and that's where most people, you know, again, pick up different forms of addictions as coping mechanisms to, you know, address the shadows of self, you know what I mean, the hurts and the pains, the darkness of oneself, you know what I mean. And addictions, you know, come in many forms. It doesn't necessarily have to be a drug or an alcohol addiction, you know what I mean. There's so many different dynamics and elements of addiction, and you know what I mean, you have to be able to, again, open yourself up in understanding that there are multiple layers of addiction. You could be addicted to shopping, you know what I mean? You could be addicted to sex. You could be addicted to just getting attention, you know what I mean? You could be addicted to being the center of attention. You could be addicted to, you know, eating, gluttony, you know what I mean? You could be addicted to certain types of people. You could be addicted to certain types of energies. You could be addicted to certain types of environments. You know what I mean? Like all these things can, again, translate into forms of addictions when you are repetitively doing them and they're not getting you to a place in which you want to be. You know what I mean? Doing the same thing every day, looking for different results, essentially. And you know, that's insanity. You know what I mean? Doing something on a daily basis, but looking for a different outcome. You're doing it the same way every day. You ain't tweaked nothing, but you expecting, you know, the world to be placed upon you because why? That's, you know, again, taking accountability. This is something that I've spoke about along the journey, you know what I mean, along my journey. Taking accountability is probably, you know, a strong 2 or a 1C, you know what I mean? Because you have to take accountability for your actions, you know? You have to really look at yourself, and regardless to, you know, environment, situations, or whatever this person did, or whatever the situation presented to you that, you know, possibly made you react like that, at the end of the day, taking full accountability of yourself removes all of these elements. So again, you know what I mean, you are developing a relationship of being analytical about your decisions, about your choices, about your, you know, your mental mind state, and just, you know, your very presence in each moment, you know what I mean? I know it sounds like a lot of thinking within these moments, but you know, once you become accustomed to doing things, it becomes, you know, habit. It becomes natural. So you know what I mean? Once you start, yeah, it may feel as though you're doing a lot of thinking, but you're training your mind to, you know, process things on a different level, from a different perspective, from a higher perspective, you know what I mean? And I spoke about this in videos, you know, once you are able to gain the higher perspective, it's more then about, you know, nurturing your higher perspective so that your higher perspective stays sharp. It always stays keen, because again, the number one thing that you are looking at in all situations, whether they go good or bad, is what you contributed to the situation. You know what I mean? You really have to be clear in understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it, the intentions behind it. Because again, your intentions are going to carry, possibly, depending on, you know, the state of where you are, they're going to carry a lot of your shadow energies, you know what I mean? If you're an egotistical person, then your energy is, you know, carried behind your intent. your shadow energy is carried behind your intent. And you know what I'm saying? You don't have the best intentions when it comes down to, you know what I mean, getting or, you know, receiving things from people. You have a very skewed aspect about the way you should conduct yourself, the way you should, you know, conduct yourself in business terms, conduct yourself with your relationship with monies, etc., etc. You know what I mean? You gain kind of a shrewd kind of mindset, you know what I mean? And again, I've been there. It's a part of, you know, again, reflecting and looking at who you are and looking at what you are, again, presenting yourself as to the world. You know what I mean? Whatever energies you put out is what you get back. So without you even understanding the elements and the energies of, you know, your shadow side and your light side, you know what I mean, and the importance of healing, again, you tend to have the mentality of hurt people. And you know, it's a harsh reality, but it is also truth. And it's mostly due to the fact that people aren't, you know, they're not ready for it. And if they are ready for it, they think it's going to be, you know what I mean, like a quick breeze in the park and then you're just done. But, you know, once you get in, you find out that it's not that easy either. You know what I mean? Even for me, people may have the persona or the perception that, you know, it's just all sunshines and daisies with me and it's just easy breezy for me along my spiritual journey. But you know what I mean? It has really been tough for me as well. It has really been, you know, a challenge to say the least, that it has pushed me and pulled me in every which way, and even, you know, pulled me past sometimes where I felt like, you know, I was gonna break. You know what I mean? It pulled me past my breaking points, pushed me past my breaking points to, you know, again, it got me to understand that my mindset and, you know, just what I personally felt like were my breaking points weren't necessarily even my breaking points. They were actually, in fact, you know, keen growth points. These were points in which I was able to really grow, really learn myself, really, you know what I mean, get deep with myself, and, you know, again, get into the darkness within myself and look at myself on a full scale and accept, you know, the things that I've gone through, the things that I've done, you know, and really look at in each phase and each facet in my life when I was doing these things, really try and, you know, take myself out of my mind state now and from a higher perspective now, turn around and look back and look and really feel and understand why I was doing these things, why I was participating in these things, why I allowed certain things, why I took part in certain things. And you know what I mean? It's really eye-opening. It's really, you know, in some cases it most definitely is you know, a hard pill to swallow, you know, to really accept some of, you know, your own truths in your story. And you know what I mean? And really, again, look at yourself from like you were someone else and you were telling the story to someone else, but also not being in the state of judging yourself, you know what I mean, from a genuine state of learning and understanding, you know what I mean, from your higher self, essentially, from your higher being. And you know, again, you'll see like, dang, I was, you know, here or there, or I was doing this because of this. And you know, for me, it's funny now. Not funny in a cynical way, but you know what I mean? Just to be able to look back again and have the mindset that I have and not be upset about anything, it's funny because all of it really was meant to help me. All of it really was meant for, you know what I mean, for me to get where I am right now, you know what I mean, and feel and embody what I feel now. And you know what I mean, not only do I feel it, but you know what I mean, it's one of those things where it permeates, you know what I mean, that energy is so, you know what I mean, you pull in people, you attract people, you light and dark, you know what I mean, because again, you are balanced, you know what I mean. I've spoken about this before, you know, divine masculine and divine feminine energies. You are balanced with both your energies. You are balanced with your light and your dark energy, your good, your bad side. You're balanced with both of them, however you want to term it, you know what I mean. The angel in the streets, but the freak in the sheets. You've balanced it to where you're just not a freak all day, you know, like, or you're just a businessman all day and you're a square, you know what I mean. You don't handle business at home, or you know what I mean, you're not aroused at home, you know what I mean, like, because you're so focus driven. You find that healthy balance, you know what I mean, in any and everything. So you know what I mean, within that, you just, you know, you get to a place where you can process it all, you can digest it all, and the hurts and the pains are removed because you've done your shadow work. You've looked at and analyzed the reasonings and why you were there and in these situations, and you know, you learn, you grow, and you heal, you know. And it should motivate you to want to do better, you know. It should motivate you once you've set your healthy boundaries and you've, you know, partaken in a strong dose of self-love, you know what I mean, and really taking it to the next level with your self-love. And you know what I mean, you passionate about what you're doing for yourself, and you know what I mean, you have that balance, you know what I mean, you heal, and it just changes everything for you. It changes your mind state, it changes how you interact with yourself, it changes how you interact with people, you know what I mean. It changes, you know, the relationship with your connection, whatever your connection is, whatever you believe in. It just changes the connection. It's a more pure connection. And then with that, again, you attract what you are. Like attracts like. So if you're in a more pure state, if you're in a more analytical yet action orientated, you know what I'm saying, mindset, as well as being open and compassionate, but also being strong enough to set your boundaries, you know what I mean, those healthy boundaries, you're going to, again, be in a lot more healthy situations. You're going to be in a lot more healthy environments because you're not going to allow yourself to go back, because you understand the process and the progress, and you understand that if you are partaking, that means you're taking steps back, you know what I'm saying. It's sometimes it's a necessary, you got to take a step back to take 2 steps forward, but in some cases you don't have to take that step backwards. You could just keep walking forward. And you know, that's where discernment comes in, and using your intuition and trusting your gut, you know what I mean, of course. But you know, there are opportunities, there are moments where, you know, again, you'll be able to rest and you'll be able to really get to it, and you know, you'll find that balance. You'll find what's right for you. Everybody has their own roadmap, you know. It's just important in finding it to begin with. You got to find it first. So, you know, with that, that's my take. That's, you know what I mean, that's the shadow work. You got to get to the shadow work in order to truly heal. And, you know, healing is never done. You're never done healing, but each level that you heal on, it puts you in a even more peaceful and blissful mind state to, you know, continue to encourage you to stay in a peaceful state. Like, you know, that's as best as I can put that. Shadow work. Take care of it. Knock it out. If you need help, I'm always here. But heal. Do that shadow work. Do that healing. Grow. Learn. Be real with yourself. Yeah, I love y'all though. Y'all be good. Peace.